Hello everyone, how you doing? This is part 5 on school and campus safety across the state of Massachusetts. Now again, let me remind you about my mask. I can make videos, in certain settings, in certain buildings. But you gotta remember, they said I can make videos here as long as I keep a mask on at all times. Now let me make it clear to you. Places, especially private places like private buildings and owners, they have the right to require you to wear a mask or any kind of face covering. They have that right. Whether COVID restrictions are in place or not, they still have that right. Also, before I get to the point of this video, I want to remind everyone that if you see anyone wearing a face mask like this one right here, it doesn't always mean they're trying to hide their identity, and it doesn't always mean they're gonna rob the place. It doesn't always mean that. Especially during the wintertime when it's cold and people are gonna start wearing, masks will cover their face to stay warm. Because let me tell you something, masks like that are only sketchy when you do something stupid with it. I'll say it again. Masks like what I'm wearing right now, they're only sketchy and scary when you do something stupid with it. That's the only time it's sketchy and scary, is when you do something stupid with it. All right? Now that I said it 3 times, I'm assuming everyone understands that. Now, now back to the whole thing about this kid from Wakefield, Massachusetts. Yes, I said this already that, who knows what the school district in Wakefield is planning to do with the student that was taking inappropriate photos of female students. Because, and I'm hearing that, you know, the female students from Wakefield High School really don't feel comfortable about him coming back in the classroom and back in school because really, like I said in part 4 of the video, it is very concerning. It is. And it can disrupt learning. So I'm hoping that the Wakefield School District will do the right thing, by either expelling the student or transferring the student. Now, if you can't expel the student, it doesn't mean you can't transfer him. It doesn't mean you can't because, if you can't expel the student, then transfer him because really, the student, he has every right to education like everyone else, but it shouldn't take place at Wakefield High School. It should be taking place elsewhere, somewhere else. Anywhere but Wakefield High School. That's all I can say. But I just want to let everyone know my thoughts are with the girls that was targeted like that. So if the Wakefield High School girls watching this video, my thoughts are with you. Now, on to this whole racist attacks in schools and colleges across Massachusetts. Now, the latest one. First, I heard, according to NBC 10 Boston, there was like a racist attack on social media at Fitchburg High School called FHS Slaves. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that, but it did got a lot of attention from Fitchburg High School students, or should I say, students in the Fitchburg School District, the administration, as well as Fitchburg Police. And I stand with all three parties. I stand with all three parties because it's got my attention as well. And I'm assuming that this type of post on social media has gotten attention of all parents throughout Massachusetts. This is getting out of control. It is. And here's another latest incident at Danvers High School, which is located North Shore, which is north of Boston. Another incident involving an athletic team. First, it was the boys' hockey team because they have been in hot water for racism and hazing, and now the wrestling team for racist social media posts. What is going on here? What is going on? Because these concerns keep popping up everywhere. And I've been noticing that there's inhuman like behavior among students across Massachusetts, as well as the general public. You see, this is why I've been asking people to come together for a meeting to address ongoing concerns on Massachusetts school grounds and college campuses. I have asked people to come together about that because learning environments are supposed to be safe spaces for everyone, regardless of race, gender, orientation, disability, etc. They're supposed to be safe spaces. But nowadays, some parents are afraid to send their kids to school, as well as certain colleges. Some kids don't even want to go to school now because of what's been going on lately. And really, I can't blame them. I can't blame anyone one bit. Because this is the time to go back to normal after going through the pandemic lockdown. But again, the pandemic lockdown has created a lot of stress among people. It's just not the pandemic, the lockdown and restrictions has put a lot of stress on a lot of people. Because after, the whole thing with COVID-19, the second time this new virus is called Delta variant, that's been an issue. And now come after Thanksgiving 2021, there's the Omicron variant. At this time, scientists said it's not as deadly as COVID-19, known as coronavirus, as well as the Delta variant. But either way, it's still good to be prepared in case another lockdown happens. Still is. But back to the whole instance at colleges and schools across Massachusetts, a lot needs to be done. And I mean a lot. Because there's too much going on. And people are feeling that the administration at the school districts as well as college campuses are not doing enough. And I have to say, yes, I agree. A lot of them are not doing enough. Now, there are some school districts and colleges are taking action, the proper actions, but, colleges like UMass Amherst, they're not doing enough, really. Because there's this latest incident involving 2 female students. Because they were found unconscious, everything, but it turns out they went to an underage drinking party at a frat house. Yeah, it's just people don't understand. I'm like, yes, I understand their pandemic restrictions have been lifted, but see, the thing is, these fraternities need to realize that, if you keep having parties like that, you're making yourselves as well as other fraternities look bad, especially after what happened at Theta Chi. Now, I know it's just on social media. No one came forward. So they're not going to take any action, which is completely understandable because That's just how it is with the law, even though it stinks. But other people came forward about that same frat, about the ratio, because they told males students that if they don't bring girls, they can't come in. That's what it seems to be at these UMass frats. From what I'm hearing and from what I've witnessed, they don't want to take it. They won't accept anyone in unless they have girls with them. And I was like, wow. But really, people, you know, the pandemic, it gave me some time to like figure out, organize. That's what it did. Make more videos like this one. It really has. And like I said, everything's back to normal, back to things being mishandled, as well as, people getting more violent on college campuses, on school grounds. And in case you haven't seen part one of my video, I made this video in response to the Boston high school principal being brutally assaulted by one of her students. Now, like I said, it's unknown what led up to that, but either way, it shouldn't be happening anywhere because we all have a right to feel safe anywhere we go. And, the thing is, too, I want people to understand, that I am concerned. And I'm really encouraging people to set up a meeting. Because I know, as far as I heard, I know that Quincy High School students and parents, they had a meeting about these concerns about these racism and everything like that on social media. Now it's unclear if other school districts, students and parents had meetings about, other concerns like series of fights and all that. Now, as far as newly elected mayor of Boston, Michelle Wu, I am glad that she's the new mayor of Boston. The first female, first minority as mayor of Boston. And I'd like to thank Kim Janey for her service as acting mayor. And I want to remind everyone again that I am a former Boston Public School student. And I'm the one that wants to help make a difference by talking to all mayors as well as community leaders throughout Massachusetts to talk about this whole thing because, we just this stuff just can't keep happening. Now, if any mayors of Massachusetts want to, invite me to like city or town hall to have a talk with me about these concerns, I'm like, yeah, I'm willing to come, but I might need a ride to city or town hall, that. I'm like, if you can help me with that, then I'm more than welcome to meet with, city or town mayors anywhere in Massachusetts. Because the thing is, I want the 2022 spring semester to be a much better one. Because the 2021 fall semester has been really rough for everyone across Massachusetts and, of course, across the nation. And I've been hearing and seeing that there's going to be like new leaderships in major cities like Boston, New York, as well as other cities. across the nation. And again, Michelle Wu, yeah, I saw her Instagram video that she's down in Washington, D.C., meeting with other newly elected mayors, which is good. And it's nice to see that she's riding the D.C. Metro, you know, to the meeting, everything like that. I'm all for that. I am all for that. And I like to see more mayors of different cities across the nation connect to it like that. Nowhere if it's in person in DC or on Zoom. Because when mayors connect like that across the nation, it's a good chance of making it a better place, making schools a better place. And again, I'm all for Michelle Wu taking the orange line to work, to wherever she's coming from in Boston, to City Hall, Boston. I'm all for that. But I just hope she has, security detail with her because really, there's some people that don't like her. People accused her of being anti-police and all that. Look, honestly, it's okay to hate cops and all that. I understand a lot of people do more because of what happened to George Floyd and all the rest before him. But you got to remember that not all police officers are like that. Not all of them are the same. I'm like, let's not forget about the Boston police officer that went the extra mile back in 2018. Because what happened was, he was detailing the Bruins game at the TD Garden, but then this woman and her daughter that was coming from New York City because she had a treatment at the hospital in New York City. Then they took a plane from New York to Boston Logan, and then what happened was flight delays made them miss their train from North Station to Portland, Maine, which is called the Downeaster, operated by Amtrak. Or should I call it Amtrak's Downeaster? They missed the train by, I think it was a minute and a half. And then, they had to wait 3 hours. So the fact that her daughter's health condition couldn't take the cold, so she asked an officer if they can, hold their stuff or anything. But you know what he did? You know what the Boston police officer did? He loaded up his cruiser with their stuff, and then he took them up there. But when he was in Linfield, gassed up his cruiser. They were asking, "What's going on? Where you going?" You know what the officer said? He was jokingly saying, "It's a kidnapping, but it's legal." You know what the officer did? He took him and his Boston police cruiser from the TD Garden all the way up to their home in Portland, Maine. See, that's another thing about protecting and serving. That's what he did. And I apologize for going off topic on this video, but I just want to remind people that, there are good cops like that. And I really asked Michelle Wu to give the Boston police officer that went the extra mile a medal for what he did. He should be honored for that. He should not be in trouble. He should be honored for what he did. Going the extra mile is part of protecting and serving. If that Boston police officer was watching my video, it was up to me, you would get a medal from me. You would definitely get a medal. But it's not up to me. So, if that Boston police officer that went the extra mile back in 2018 to help that woman and daughter from Maine, I salute you. Now, back on the topic about school and campus safety across Massachusetts. We need to do better. We really do. And now, my advice to the administrations, you have two choices. If you can't seem to like make things better or properly like make it safe for everyone, for both students and employees, here are your two options. Step up or step aside. I've told people this before. Step up or step aside. Because look, this can't keep happening. So if this continues to happen and everything like that, my advice to you is to step down, step aside. Let someone else who cares take over. Because pretty soon, if these leaders as administrations and all that continue to remain there and these things keep happening and nothing's being done, then it's time to step aside. Just like this veteran referee at a UMass men's lacrosse game. He was there, but he saw how awful the ref's calls was. You know what that veteran referee said? If you can't get off, if you can't handle the field, then get off. That's a powerful word right there. I'll say it again. You know what that referee said, who was not on duty at the men's lacrosse game, who's also a veteran lacrosse referee? He said, if you can't handle the field, then get off. That's right. Powerful words from the veteran lacrosse referee. Powerful words. But pretty soon, there's going to be new leadership soon. Now, let me tell you a little bit something about UMass Amherst. I noticed that the chancellor, he didn't want to come to an open forum the second time because it was the first one, but they tried to keep it quiet because, they were afraid of a lot of people coming, but a lot of people showed up, but then they kind of did it last minute. But really, people, the way they did it and everything like that, it's like they didn't want to face the crowd. It's like they were cowardly, not willing to face the crowd because there's been a lot of concerns ever since no more in-person operations resumed. A lot of it. And, people need to understand that, people have a right to be heard. It doesn't matter if they're former students, former employees, disgruntled or not, they have a right to be heard. They do. But now, I noticed that it's almost like 25 minutes into this video. So I'm gonna stop this for now. And I'm gonna work on part 6 of this video. Part 6. So this is part 5 of the video. I'm gonna stop here for now, to be continued. Stay tuned for part 6. You do not want to miss this one. For those of you who support me and watch my videos, I appreciate it. 2 thumbs up. I would like to pull this mask down and smile, but like I said, I made an agreement to keep my mask on if I make videos. Thank you.